Hello and welcome dear students. In today's deliberation, we are going to discuss different aspects of soup including its origin, classification, serving, garnishing and its storage. Let us start with the introduction of soup. The word soup comes from the French word soupe, which means broth. The term soup further comes from the Latin word soupa, which means bread soaked in broth. The origin of soup dates back to about 6000 BC. First commercial soup was consumed in France in the 16th century. Soup is a liquid food derived from meat, poultry, fish or vegetables. It is a replenishing, aromatized and complete meal. Soups play a very important role on the menu and are served as appetizer to stimulate the appetite for rest of the heavier foods to follow. Most of these soups, no matter what their final ingredients may be, are completely based on stock. Thus, the quality of the soup depends on the quality of the stock used in its preparation. Dear students, now we will discuss the classification of soup. Soups can be divided into three basic categories, that is thick soup, thin soup and international soup. Thin soup is further divided into passed and unpassed soup. International soup, on the other hand, is a name given to any special and famous soup from various countries. Most of these soups, no matter what their final ingredients may be, are based on stock. Now let us discuss these soups in more detail. First, thin soup. Thin soups are all based on clear, unthickened broth or stock. They may be served plain or garnished with a variety of vegetables and meats. Thin soup is further divided into two categories, passed or clear soup and unpassed soup. First is the passed or clear soup. It is a soup which is basically strained after preparation with the help of a strainer or a muslin cloth. The specialty of this soup is that it is simple, clear, transparent, flavorful and without any solid ingredients. This can be made from poultry, beef, veal and vegetables, for example, consume. The word consume means literally completed or concentrated. In other words, a consume is a strong concentrated stock. In classical cuisine, this was all that was necessary for a stock to be called a consume. In fact, two kinds were recognized: unclarified or ordinary consume and clarified consume. For preparing consume, the stock must be strong, rich and full flavored. A good consume with a mellow but full aroma and plenty of body, which is from the natural gelatin, is one of the great pleasures of the fine cuisine. Now let us discuss the basic ingredients in consume. The mixture of ingredients used to clarify a stock is called the clear meat. Lean ground meat is one of the major sources of the protein that enables the clear meat to do its job. It also contributes flavor to the consume. Beef shank, also called shin beef, is the most desirable meat because it is high in albumin proteins. Beef and or chicken meat are used to clarify chicken consume. Ground lean fish may be used, but it is normal to omit flesh altogether and use only egg whites. Egg whites are included in the clear meat because, being mostly albumin, they greatly strengthen its clarifying power. Mirepoix, seasoning and flavoring ingredients are usually included because they add flavor to the finished consume. They do not actually help in the clarification but give solidity to the raft. The raft is the coagulated clear meat floating in a solid mass on the top of the consomme. The mere coax must be cut into fine pieces so it will float with the raft. A large amount of particular vegetable may be added if a special flavor is desired, as in, for example, essence of celery consomme. Acid ingredients, that is tomato product for beef or chicken consomme, lemon juice or white wine for fish consomme are often added as the acidity helps to coagulate the protein. Now we will discuss the second type of thin soup, that is unpassed soup. The property of this soup is same as of clear soup except it is not strained and has solid ingredients in it. The preparation method is same and can be prepared from beef, veal, poultry and vegetables. Examples of this type of soup is broths and bouillons. First we will throw some light on broth. The difference between a broth and a stock is that a broth is made by simmering meat and vegetables, while a stock is made by simmering bones and vegetables. Because of this difference, a well-made stock is generally richer in gelatin content than a broth. A broth, on the other hand, usually has more pronounced flavor of meat or poultry than a stock. A more neutral flavor is desired in a stock, which is used as the base for many sauces as well as soups. Nevertheless, broths are not often specially made in food service operations. The cost of the meat makes them expensive unless the meat can be used for another purpose or unless the restaurant has a good supply of meat trimmings that might otherwise be wasted. Flavorful cuts such as beef shank, chacks and necks are good for making broths. Broths can be served as such with seasoning and a light garnish added. For example, plain chicken broth is commonly served as restorative for invalids. More often, broths are used in place of stocks in vegetable soups and other clear soups. First, we will discuss bouillon. Bouillon is often used in synonymous with broth. The term also pertains to the condensed cube and powder forms of broth, used to add a burst of flavor to some recipes. Cote bouillon typically refers to recipes for seafood because of the short cooking time required for the fish and shellfish. Cote bouillon is also flavored with vegetables and aromatics such as celery and carrots before the main ingredient is added. Second important category is of thick soups. Unlike thin soups, thick soups are opaque rather than transparent. They are thickened either by adding a thickening agent such as rocks or by pouring one or more of their ingredients to provide a heavier consistency. The difference between thick soup and unpassed soup is that thick soup is viscous in nature. Thick soups are further classified depending upon the thickening agents used as follows. First is the cream soup. This soup is prepared from the puree of vegetables, meat, fish or poultry. The name cream soup is usually given after the main ingredients. For example, creamy di tomati is a cream soup made from tomato. Cream soups are soups thickened with rocks, beurre mini, lasagne, milk and or cream. They are similar to velouté and bechamel sauces. They may be made by diluting and flavoring either of these two leading sauces. Milk is sometimes used to dilute the soup in order to get the correct consistency. Next important topic is the quality standards for cream soup, including thickness, which should be like the consistency of heavy cream and not too thick. Texture, which needs to be smooth without graininess or lumps except in case of garnish. And taste, distinct flavor of the main ingredient should be present. For example, asparagus in cream of asparagus and no starchy taste from uncooked rocks. Curdling is a common problem with cream soup as it is made with cream or milk or both. The cause behind curdling of the soup can be either the acidity content of many soup ingredients like tomato or heat of cooking. Rocks and other storage thickeners are used to stabilize milk and cream in order to avoid curdling while making a sauce. Soups are relatively thin as compared to sauce and contain less amount of starch. So the chance of curdling is always there. Therefore, precaution should be taken to avoid this. Some measures of prevention of curdling include: first, do not combine milk and simmering soup stock without the presence of rocks or other storage. Following measures are to be taken. First, thicken the stock before adding milk. Thicken the milk before adding it to the soup. Second, do not add cold milk or cream to the simmering soup. Do one of the following. First, heat the milk in a separate saucepan. Second, temper the milk by gradually adding some of the hot soup to it. Then add it to the rest of the soup. Third, do not boil soup after milk or cream is added. Another category is the velouté soup. The French word velouté in English means velvety. This describes the finished texture and appearance of the soup. The principal thickening element is a blonde rocks or a velouté sauce, which may be flavored using different stock bases according to the requirements. When preparing meat, poultry or fish veloutés, the predominant flavor is determined by the stock used. However, while producing aqueous vegetable velouté soups, the flavor of the main vegetable predominates. In order to achieve the velvety finish, the liaison of the egg yolks and cream is added just before the service. Once this has been added, the soup must not be boiled again, otherwise it will take on a curdled appearance. Third category is the puree soup. Puree soups are made by simmering dried or fresh vegetables, especially high storage vegetables, in stock or water. Then pureeing the soup. Purees are normally based on starchy ingredients. They may be made from dried legumes such as split pea soup or from fresh vegetables with the starchy ingredients such as potatoes or rice. Purees may or may not contain milk or cream. Purees are relatively easy to prepare. Purees soups are not as smooth and refined as cream soups, but are coarser in texture and character. Fourth category is the chowder soup. Chowders are chunky, hearty soups made from fish, shellfish, and or vegetables, and full of good things that they sometimes are more like stews than soups. Many types of chowders are simply cream soups or puree soups that are not pureed but left chunky. Like other specialty regional soups, chowders resist categorization. However, most of them are based on fish or shellfish or vegetables, and most contain potatoes and milk or cream. Fifth category is of biscuit soup. Biscuits may be defined as a thickened, paste and classical seafood soups prepared from a base of fish stock, flavored with selected shellfish and mere porks. At one time, biscuits were thickened with rice, but today they are more frequently thickened with rocks. Biscuits are basically made like other cream soups, but they seem more complex because of the handling of the shellfish and the variety of flavoring ingredients often used. Expensive to prepare and rich in taste, they are considered luxury soups. Biscuit is generally used for shellfish soups, but nevertheless, the word biscuit applied to many of the vegetables, puree soups and cream soups. They are enhanced with wine, brandy and thickened with starch, usually in the form of rice. Due to the delicacy of their flavor and the high cost of production, biscuits are best suited to be served at dinner. Now, we shall discuss the third category of soups called specialty soup or international soup. Special soups are those that are made with unusual ingredients and are prepared by a distinctive method. So, they are termed as national soups. There are numerous varieties of international soups such as cold, hot, thin or thick, etc. International soups are those soups which are originated from the different places and locality within the different countries. These soups are basically having a great tradition, and that is why they are known by their country. They are placed in a different category and their names should appear on the menu in the language of the country of its origin, as they have different origins. Some of the famous international soups are below. Minestrone, it is famous in Italy. French onion soup, it is famous in France. Scotch broth, it is famous in Scotland. Paprika, it is famous in Hungary. Oxtail soup, it is famous in England. Next, we shall discuss about soup presentation or soup service. The standard portion of the soup to be served includes appetizer portion of 6 to 8 oz, that is 200 to 250 ml, and main course portion of 10 to 12 oz, that is 300 to 350 ml. Temperature at which the soup is mostly served is to be serve it hot at 165°F in hot cups or bowls, or serve it cold at 41°F in chilled bowls, or even nested in a large bowl of crushed ice. Now we will discuss the garnishing of the soup. Since soup can be plain in appearance, their presentation should be enhanced with the garnish. The major ingredients used for garnishing of soup include vegetables in clear vegetable soup. The other garnishes include meats, poultry, seafood, pasta products and grains such as barley or rice. They are treated as a part of the preparation or recipe itself, not as something added on. Consommes are generally named after their garnish, such as consomme brunoise, which contains vegetables cut into brunoise shape, that is 3 mm dice. Vegetable cream soups are usually garnished with carefully cut pieces of the vegetable from which they are made. An elegant way to serve soup with a solid garnish is to arrange the garnish attractively in the bottom of a heated soup plate. This plate is set before the diner and then the soup is ladled from a tureen by a dining room stop. Next, we will talk on the topping of soup. Clear soups are generally served without toppings to let the attractiveness of the clear broth. Thick soups, especially those that are all one color, are often decorated with a topping. Toppings should be placed on the soup just before service so they would not sink or lose their fresh appearance. Their flavor must be appropriate to the soup. The food should be attractive in itself. Topping suggestions for thick soup includes fresh herbs, parsley, chives, or chopped croutons, fine julienne of vegetables, grated Parmesan cheese, sliced almonds, toasted crumbled bacon, grated cheese, paprika, seaweed egg yolks, egg whites, flavored oils, fried herbs such as parsley, sage, chervil, celery leaves, leek julienne, sour cream or whipped cream, either plain or flavored with herbs or spices. Second is the accompaniments. American soups are traditionally served with the crackers. In addition to the usual saltiness or other suggestions for crisp accompaniments are Malabar toast, cheese, citrus, corn chips, whole grain wafers and breadsticks. Last, we will talk on the storing of soup. While making a large batch of thick soup, cool and refrigerate the soup before adding the milk or cream. Great care is to be taken in order to avoid overcooking of meats or vegetables. Nevertheless, if a large kettle of soup is kept on the steam table all the day, small batch cooking is applied to soups as well as to other foods. Small batches are frequently heated to replenish the steam table with the fresh soup. Consomme and other clear soups can be taken hot for longer periods if the vegetable garnish is heated separately and added at the service time. This was all about today's lecture. Hope you understood it well. Thank you.